Becoming an Army Ranger is one of the hardest things any soldier can do. Let's break down exactly what it takes by going through who the Rangers are, what the requirements look like, what RASP is, and what it demands, Ranger School and its 3 phases, and what you actually walk away with on the other side of all of it. Every Ranger who has been through this path has the same relationship with it. They hated every single minute of the process, and they would not trade what it made them for anything in the world. Let's get into it. Who the Army Rangers actually are. There are 2 things people mix up constantly: the 75th Ranger Regiment and Ranger School, and they are not the same thing. The 75th Ranger Regiment is one of the most elite special operations forces in the United States Army. They fall under the United States Army Special Operations Command, and their job is to run direct action operations, meaning raids, airfield seizures, surveillance, and personnel recovery in the most hostile environments on Earth. This is a full-time combat unit that deploys and executes real-world missions. Ranger School, on the other hand, is a 62-day leadership course open to soldiers across all branches of the military. You do not have to be in the 75th Ranger Regiment to attend Ranger School, and completing Ranger School does not automatically make you a Ranger in the regiment. What Ranger School does give you is the Ranger Tab, which is one of the most respected qualifications in the military. The leaders of the 75th Ranger Regiment all hold the Ranger Tab, but plenty of tab holders across the Army never served a day in the regiment. Knowing this difference matters, because the path to the regiment and the path to the tab are 2 different roads that sometimes run together. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit subscribe right now, because everything coming next is exactly the kind of detail nobody tells you before you raise your hand and volunteer. Getting into the 75th Ranger Regiment, RASP. To get into the regiment, you have to go through RASP, which stands for Ranger Assessment and Selection Program. It is an 8-week course designed to break you down physically, mentally, and psychologically under extreme conditions, and then see who is still standing. The failure rate historically sits above 50%, and that number does not include all the guys who never even made it through the initial screening. If you are coming in as a civilian, the fastest path is an Option 40 contract when you enlist. This contract slots you into the Ranger Regiment pipeline as an infantryman or mortarman. There are only about 150 of these contracts released per month, so they go fast. If getting an Option 40 is your goal, talk to your recruiter about timing. Before you ever see RASP, you need to get through Airborne School first. Then you pass a pre-RASP fitness screening, which includes push-ups, sit-ups, a 2-mile run, pull-ups, and a 6-mile ruck march with a 35-pound rucksack. Once you get into RASP, Phase 1 is where the real testing begins. You have a 12-mile ruck march, land navigation graded both solo and in teams, a 5-mile run, first responder skills testing, and psychological evaluations. They are not just watching how fast you are, they are watching what kind of person you are under pressure. Phase 2 shifts into skills training, marksmanship, tactics, explosives, and breaching techniques for urban environments. The candidates still standing at this point are already in elite shape, so this phase is about turning physical animals into tactical soldiers. Graduate RASP, and you get the tan beret, which is the symbol of the regiment and one of the highest honors a soldier can earn in the United States Army. Officers follow a similar path but go through RASP 2, which is a 3-week selection course for senior non-commissioned officers, and warrant officers. It carries the same weight, just a different structure. Ranger School, the leadership course. Ranger School is 62 days and it breaks into 3 phases: Benning, Mountains, and Florida. The historical graduation rate sits around 50%, and here is the brutal part. Most of the people who wash out do it in the very first few days. Benning phase lasts 21 days and starts with the Ranger Assessment phase, or RAP week. This is where roughly 60% of all failures happen right off the bat. You have to pass 49 push-ups, 59 sit-ups, a 5-mile run in under 40 minutes, and 6 chin-ups. That is just the entry test. After that comes Combat Water Survival Assessment, land navigation, a 2-mile buddy run in full gear, the Malvesti obstacle course, and a 12-mile ruck march to end the week. If you are still standing after RAP week, your chances of graduating shoot up dramatically. Once you pass RAP, you move into squad-level patrolling, ambushes, raids, and battle drills. Mountain phase moves you to Camp Merrill near Dahlonega, Georgia, and lasts 20 days. You get military mountaineering training, rappelling, knots, rope management, and movement of equipment over rugged terrain. Then, you move into platoon-level combat operations in the mountains. Hunger, cold, and sleep deprivation all hit their peak here, and you learn how to lead when you have nothing left. Students typically eat 1 to 2 MREs per day and sleep 4 hours on a good day. Florida phase is the final phase, 21 days of jungle and swamp operations near Eglin Air Force Base. You learn small boat operations, river crossings, stream crossing techniques, and how to survive and operate in a coastal swamp environment. There's a 10-day patrol at the end of this phase, and if you get through it, you go back to Fort Benning for graduation. The Rangers in Action display at the graduation ceremony is something worth seeing and worth remembering. At the graduation ceremony, you get the black and gold Ranger tab pinned to your left shoulder, usually by someone you respect most in the world. That tab does not come off. What the road actually costs you. The physical requirements are one thing, but there are things about this path that no fitness chart tells you. The sleep deprivation during Ranger School is genuinely worse than the food deprivation. You can run on hunger, you can push through a lack of calories. Your brain without sleep is a different story. There are stretches of training where you go days on almost nothing. Bad leaders during patrols mean no time to eat, no time to sleep before executing a mission. One Ranger who went through the course described eating butter on bread with sugar, folded in half and jammed in his mouth, because he had maybe 40 seconds before leaving the dining facility. That is not an exaggeration. That is a Tuesday. Peer evaluations happen at the end of every single phase. This is where your fellow students write down who helped the team and who dragged it down. The people who got peered out usually deserved it, not because they could not shoot or navigate, but because they put themselves first when things got hard. And in Ranger School, the team notices that faster than any instructor does. The lesson is simple: be a team player from day one, or your peers will vote you out. And then there is the harassment. The cadre will never let up, and the hardship is relentless, but that is the point. Enduring it without breaking is exactly what builds mental toughness. Every Ranger loses weight during the course. One veteran entered at 180 pounds and graduated at 160. Your body will not be the same when you come out. What you walk away with. Obviously, you learn squad and platoon level patrolling, ambushes, raids, and defensive operations. But the bigger lessons are the ones that stick to you for life. You learn that security comes before food and sleep every single time. You learn how to lead people who are exhausted, hungry, and pushed to the edge of what they thought they could handle. You learn that you are capable of far more than you ever imagined before you started. Every Ranger I know who has been through this road says the same thing. They hated going through it, and they would not trade what it gave them for anything. Looking back, every one of them is glad they raised their hand and volunteered. If you are thinking about the path, this video just laid it out for you: the regiment, the tab, the cost, and what you gain on the other side. Now it is your move. Like the video if it gave you something real, and hit subscribe because we go deep on exactly this kind of thing. Rangers lead the way. I'll see you in the next one.